Let's say your school burned down. I don't know why that's exactly where my mind gravitated, but it is, so we're just gonna go with this example. Hi everyone, my name is Abby, and have you ever been confused about how to summarize your whole 17 or 18 years of life into one essay? Because me too, and I think probably a lot of other people. But I'm here to help you with that today. So I make videos about college, fashion, and family. I'm posting every Tuesday and Friday this summer. So if those sound like things that you enjoy, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can stay posted on what I am doing on this channel. So just for a little background about me, I'm going to be a sophomore at the University of Notre Dame. I study, well, it's kind of a long thing, but essentially I study television, marketing, journalism, and musical theater. So I love to write. I do a lot of writing. Today I'm going to be talking about the personal statement, which is kind of the crux of, that's my dog, which is kind of the crux of the college application. It's that essay that talks about your life, kind of, you're supposed to summarize what is most important about your personality and your achievements. So for a little bit of background on my college application process, I applied to 5 schools, I believe. So Notre Dame, obviously where I go now. I also applied to Villanova, Boston College, Northwestern, and Loyola University of Chicago. And I got into all of them except for Northwestern. So hopefully that gives you just a little bit of a background about the kind of schools that I was applying to. Also, if you guys are interested, I can definitely do more videos about essays because I love writing essays. They're extremely frustrating at times, but I find them to be super gratifying in the end. I could also do more videos about college applications in general, some of the supplemental essays or just other aspects. So let me know if you'd be interested in that. So let's get a move on and get right into the tips. My first tip for you is to write an essay that's about the core of your being, about what is most important to you, your personality, and your life. And the key to this is that it should be something that's not easily seen through the rest of your application. So for example, if you're putting in your activity section that you're an acclaimed flautist, I think that's what you call somebody who plays the flute, probably don't write your essay about your big flute competition, because if you've already highlighted that in your essay, you're not really adding anything extra to it, unless you have like a crazy angle or something on the flute story. But in general, you want to try to do something a little bit different. In the same way, if you've gotten really good grades throughout your whole life, you don't want to write an essay probably about that academic decathlon that you won, because you don't want to be the school's freaky genius girl anymore. Please tell me you understand that reference. You want to think about who you are as a person. So maybe you're a really generous person. Maybe you're a person who has really good empathetic qualities. You can really see what other people are thinking and understand it and relate to them. Maybe you're really artistic and creative and nobody knows that from anything else, but you can talk about that. It's something that's unique and interesting to you. So to summarize that tip, I would say that your essay needs to be about you as a person, your qualities, and not just achievements that you've already written on other parts of the application. So my second tip would be to not write about something that was maybe like a big event that a lot of other people witnessed, unless you have a very specific take on it. So for example, this would be something that would be really tragic. Let's say your school burned down. I don't know why that's exactly where my mind gravitated, but it is, so we're just gonna go with this example. So if your school burned down and it made national news, well, yes, that's something that happened to you, but it happened to a lot of other people that were around you too. And if you have such a big event like this, I feel like sometimes the event can overtake your perspective, because this essay should be about you. It should not be about the fire in the school. So unless you can find a way to really specifically make that huge giant event turn into something that is very introspective, I'd stay away from that. I think for college essays, it's easier to write about something that's small, to maybe write about like an object or like something that's only in your family or only in your friend group, because in that way you're immediately posing it with a direct connection to you and a unique connection, and your essay should be all about your unique personality and presence. And also, I would really not recommend writing about the service experience that changed your life. While we know that that was incredibly impactful, it's kind of what we call low-hanging fruit. And I'm not trying to discredit your service experience. If I'm sure it was wonderful, and if you wrote about that and you got in places, or even if you didn't, that's great. You know, write what works for you. But I'm just saying, if you're looking for something that's going to stand out, pretty much everybody knows that a service experience is going to teach you something. Most likely it's going to be the lesson that by giving to others, you actually found out that they gave a gift to you. Yay! Okay, we all understand that. That's a very obvious way to talk about morals, to talk about values that are important to you, because clearly, like, that's why you're going on the trip. But let's say you talk about, I'll bring something embarrassing into the picture. Let's say you want to write an essay about this little phone holder toy that you brought as probably a freshman or sophomore in high school. You could tie this back into your childlike qualities, why you think a sense of staying young forever is something that's important to you, why you think that it's good to allow yourself to be free and uninhibited, and that's something that you're going to carry with you into your life, into the working world. Something like that is a little bit less of an obvious take that will take the admissions reviewers by surprise and allow them to think a little bit more, hey, well, that's something that's really creative. I never would have thought of that before. My third tip is that details are so important. I know this might seem kind of like an obvious one, but I also tutor kids in English and writing, and I've noticed so much that this is something that people forget. You have to keep in mind that in this essay, you're probably going to be describing some sort of person, place, object, or experience that the reviewers of your essay aren't incredibly familiar with. Even if it's something really iconic, like you're talking about going to Mount Rushmore or something, they probably aren't going to have a really specific picture of that in their head, especially in the way that you viewed it. So you want to make sure you're really making use of those sensory details. You know, how did it look? How specifically did the sun look? It wasn't just bright, but was it glaring? Did you have to shield your eyes because it was so bright? How did the air feel? A lot of the times the air has a quality to it. Like, was it stifling? Did it feel freeing? You know, were the rock formations around you, did you see different shapes in them? Could you take those shapes that you saw and then turn that into a metaphor for something about how you were feeling, or something that's really important, a personality trait or something like that? So make them feel like they were there. And later you can tie it into whatever you want to talk about, your greater message for the essay. But make sure you really make them feel like they were there with all of those details. That will also make your piece kind of pop, and it will instantly make it unique if they feel like they're being enveloped in this essay instead of just reading it flat on a page. My fourth and last tip for your college application essay or your personal statement is to have at least 2 people read it, but to be very selective with these 2 people. So first of all, I would recommend that you have your college counselor or whoever you have at your school, or a private person, I guess, to read your essay, because they are professional, they know what people are looking for, and chances are they'll give you good feedback because they've seen a lot of applications before. Then I would say to also have somebody that you trust read your essay, somebody that knows you very well. But again, you want to be very selective with this person. For me, I know I let my dad read my essay, even though he ended up not really liking it, but I submitted it anyway. Sorry, Dad. I would go to the person who you think knows you the best, and I would also go to somebody who has good writing skills. I'm not saying that somebody who doesn't have good writing skills couldn't offer you good insight. I'm just saying you probably don't want to bring this essay to a million people, because then you'll get a million opinions and a million ways to change it, and I just don't really think that that's worth your time. So if you're going to take it to one additional person, take it to somebody that knows you really well and can write well as well. Make sure that this person thinks that this essay is getting to the core of who you are as a person. You don't have to agree with every single aspect of it, but make sure that they think it aligns with who you are, and that you're showing a unique side of yourself that is really important to your personality, and that would make college admissions counselors want to admit you into their school. So now for my own personal essay and kind of my story behind that. So we had a little workshop in our English classes when I was a junior in high school, when you started talking about what good college essays were and how to start writing one. So we got some examples about them. A lot of those are the inspiration for these kinds of tips of having something unique, maybe basing it around an object or an experience that is very particular to you. And while I think you should try to be unique with your essay, if you're searching too hard for it, you might get into weird, obscure territory, and then people just might be confused when they read it. And that's probably not what you're going for either. So I brainstormed lots of ideas. I thought of lots of different events. And I finally came down to talking about my slight obsession with collectible toys. Yes, I acknowledge that this is a weird thing to talk about. So I wrote an essay about different collectible toys, particularly like Star Wars toys. There's this particular rocket firing Boba Fett that I think is really cool. And then there are also Beanie Babies. I talked about like a really expensive teddy bear and all of these sort of different things. I don't own any of these toys. I just think that there's something really interesting about having a very exclusive item that's really sought after. So I wrote about those, and I connected each toy to a personality trait that I really wanted to highlight. I know for the Beanie Baby, I talked about how they are kind of like soft and simple and just sweet and bring happiness. And then I talked about, you know, how it's important to me to just have a smile on my face, to greet others with happiness. So the basic format of my essay was a short introduction, then I would list the price and the like make of the toy. Then I would describe the toy, all the things that I really liked about it. So I had 3 paragraphs of that. And then I had my conclusion in which I connected all of the different toys to all of the personality traits that I think are important and ones that I wanted to highlight for the admissions panels. So I ended up being really happy with my essay. I liked it a lot. My college counselors liked it a lot as well, but they were also confused and thought that I had these toys, and they did give me some weird looks after I presented this essay to them. I think the reason that my dad didn't like it so much though is because this collectible toy thing is just something that I kind of researched on my own. He didn't know much about it, and so he kind of felt like it was weird. But then I showed him how it really got to the core of who I was. I connected all of those sort of weird, seemingly disconnected things into my whole personality, and then he seemed to be okay with it. I'm really close with my dad, so it was important to me that he really liked it. So I think that's all that I have today for this video. I feel like it was a bit of an impassioned rant, but I love writing. I love talking about it. I love helping people with it. So if you want me to talk more about this, I would absolutely love to. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please remember that I am posting every Tuesday and Friday. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and leave any suggestions down below if you have suggestions for other videos. I love you all, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!